Hi, good evening, traders. We are tonight on the 28th of March 2022. It's almost 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and we had quite an interesting day for the markets. We're looking at the daily chart of the Nifty near month futures, and clearly a day of bounce back. What we were looking for in the weekly close was, if you recall, was a consolidation like this. And we were looking for a breakout, preferably on the upside, primarily because of the fact that the underlying trend has moved up recently, and there's a slowdown of the underlying momentum, which should ideally lead to a move further on the upside. It was a weakish opening, primarily due to the banks, bank nifty, and financial stocks. But towards the later half, towards the afternoon, and towards the close, the index, the bank nifty, in fact, turned around completely from being one of the biggest losers, sectoral losers, becomes a gainer and supports the overall gain in today's session. In terms of levels, I feel that the index is all poised for a short-term test of 17,400 and further up for a retest of its previous swing high, which was up here. This level is close to 17,464. So 400, 450 is very likely in the make. I can clearly see the fact that the index has started to pick up momentum in the smaller time frames. This is the 75-minute time frame. And so if all goes well, nothing nasty in tomorrow's opening, then 400, 450 should not be an issue at all. Primarily because we've seen some nice movement coming in from stocks like Bharti Airtel. Sun Farm is also looking nice. Infosys is also looking well poised for a bounce back. And I'll also talk about State Bank of India, very important key stock if for the rest of this week the Bank Nifty performs. So let's quickly close the Nifty call by saying 400, 450 is the short-term level we should be eyeing tomorrow and day after tomorrow at best. The flip side, the caveat is the psychological 17K mark. If we see any kind of move which drags the index down below this 17K mark, then not only will it completely negate the possibility of 17,400, 450, but then it can clearly mean that the index is not ready for further upsides and it will correct. So today's low, I think, plays a very important role for any kind of weakness. Personally, honestly, I don't think that that's going to happen because the index has shown pretty good resilience and strength to hold on to its recent uptrend. And when we see the markets or stocks, especially benchmark indices, showing this kind of strength, it generally leads to further follow-through strength. And we should expect 450, if not further upsides from this index. Now, Bank Nifty, as I was saying, was a pocket of weakness which bounced back. We can clearly notice that the Bank Nifty is in a structural downtrend in comparison to the Nifty. So what it is trying to do is a bounce back, and this bounce back will be a little more clearer on the 75-minute time frame. There you go. So it's got some headroom, and I feel that this headroom primarily should come from none other than State Bank of India. SBI was one stock which I think bounced back the first. It gave the movement early today, and it was a pretty sharp bounce back throughout the day. It held well. It's a big outside bar, and I think that it's going to eye its previous swing high, which is a little close to that 503, 504. So 504, 505 kind of levels. I think the stock is very well poised for the immediate couple of sessions, if not much further upsides. So State Bank, please keep a close eye on this counter if the Bank Nifty has to contribute further. But apart from Bank Nifty, SBI, there were other stocks which gave a phenomenal encouraging move and which is very likely to carry itself further up. First one was Bharti Airtel. A beautiful almost 3% kind of a move in today's trade, but the momentum is yet to pick up on the daily time frame, which means that if this breakout holds, then we can really expect some good move coming in from the stock, even after today's 3% gain. Tata Motors is one stock which I feel is at a juncture which is make or break. Yes, the underlying trend is down, but it is consolidating so hard. It's completely gone range bound with a acute drop of volatility, range contraction. So this stock can play a complete opposite role. You should be expecting a fall, but you never know. Once it moves about 450, it can find itself into the buying impetus. And within the IT stocks, you can keep a close look at Infosys. Stock has been a sectoral leader within its peers, and it's consolidating, but it needs a breakout. So the breakout would require the stock to move above 1900. And one more stock I would like to talk about is Sun Pharma. Nice uptrend, drop of volatility completely, and I feel that above today's high, which is close to that 911, 912, I think this stock has potential for further upsides. So banks still needs to perform, especially banks and auto. We discussed this, that if the markets fail to hold, then it will come primarily from the banks. It was there in the early half of today's trade, but then it was a complete turnaround towards the close. And if this turnaround holds tomorrow, then towards the end of this week's session, keeping in mind derivatives expiry, end of the month, end of the financial year, I think the index will do good and try its best to sustain above the psychological 17K mark. So let's keep a short-term positive bias in the market and see how it unfolds in tomorrow's session. Till then, take care of yourselves, trade well and trade wise.